Hola clase, buenas tardes. Son las 2 de la tarde, después de las clases. So I wanted to do a little repaso, little review for you as you cross over from Español uno to Español dos. Okay, it's always good to refresh. And for some of you who may have some learning gaps because we've been doing this remote learning, this lesson is really for you, okay, to help catch you up. But it doesn't hurt. So we've been talking about el dormitorio, aka la habitación. Doesn't matter. They're both a bedroom. Okay. And so there's a lot of things in there. There's a lot of objects. And we need to talk about those objects. So we're having a little repaso on los sustantivos. Sustantivos. That's a fancy word. What is a sustantivo? It's a noun. We're talking about nouns today, people. So if you were to define a noun, what did we learn in first grade? A noun is a person, place, thing, or an idea. Those are the 4 things that nouns are. We're going to stay with people today and things. Okay, a lot of things in your rooms. So we're English speakers and we seem to be mystified by the fact that other languages are different than ours. And we're not always told why Spanish has different parts to it that English does not have. We're not very similar. Sometimes we are, but in this regard with nouns, you guys need to have a little bit of knowledge of masculine versus feminine. So here's the thing. For Spanish, the nouns are either going to be assigned a masculine gender or a feminine gender. However, there's a story behind it. Okay? So, why? ¿Por qué? Well, first of all, there's the obvious reason that sometimes there are just genders, like boys and girls. Okay? So, the word for boys and girls is the same with a different ending. So if I refer to you as chicas or chicos, okay, it's both chic, but a for feminine, okay, we put an A at the end, and O for masculine. If you take a look at your list of dormitorio vocabulary, you're going to notice that a lot of your terms end in an O or an A, and that makes it really easy for you to say, oh, that's a feminine word. Oh, that's a masculine word. But you notice that they're not all people. Like we're talking about like behind my head, la lámpara, or la cómoda, or I'm sitting in la silla, and I'm working at el escritorio. Okay, things that end in A, things that end in O. But, my escritorio is a desk. That has nothing to do with boys. And my silla, that's a chair. And that, doesn't have a gender to it. It's not like girl and boy dogs. There's not girl chairs and boy chairs. So we have to know kind of the reasoning why, and it'll make more sense. Okay, so sometimes, yes, sometimes it is just gender. Okay. And they do that a lot in Spanish with their words. Like, for example, family members. Hermana. Yo tengo una hermana, se llama Laurie, pero no tengo hermanos. No tengo chicos en mi familia. I can't find the word, but I don't have any. No tengo hermanos, solamente hermanas. Okay? But when we're talking about inanimate objects, You say, well, why do those have a gender, Senora? Well, here's why. Spanish, also known as Español, is what we call one of the 5 Romance languages. And what are the 5 Romance languages, you say? Okay, these languages are, like I said, Español, Francés, which they teach up above me in D3, Italiano. We don't have Italian in our school, but there was a time and a place when Italian was taught because there was a lot of Italian immigration. So I think it was available when my dad was in school in Massachusetts in the Boston area. Ooh, Portuguese, that's up and coming because who speaks Portuguese? It's the not only Portuguese population, Portugal's over in Europe, but they colonized Brazil. And so Brazil speaks Portuguese. Okay, and we have a lot of students who have Brazilian backgrounds. And this one, everyone always forgets. This is Rumano. Rumano is Romanian. Okay, for some reason, people forget that one. But those are the 5 Romance languages. And how did they get their name? Well, they got their name from the Romans. But the Romans weren't the only ones who had a hand in it, but the Greeks. The ancient Greeks and Romans were very powerful. They had the empires, the Greek Empire and the Roman Empire. And you know what that means. It's very powerful, okay? And they took over a lot of land in Western Europe. So their language, you know, is obviously one of the greatest influences that a people can bring to those they conquer. And so they mixed, they overlapped, and then from these languages, those ones were formed. And that's why they're all kind of similar, because they're all like a mutt, like a mix of ancient Greek, not modern day Greek. If you have a friend, or if you are Greek and you speak Greek, not the same kind of Greek, this is ancient Greek, and Latin, because the Romans spoke Latin, which we know is a dead language. Both of these languages are kind of dead now. So they're not spoken in a society. Anyhow, that's okay. They're dead, but they created all those cool languages that we're learning now. So when you see that a noun, a sustantivo, if you want to be fancy in Spanish about it, has a gender, like la cia comes from Latin. It's feminine because it comes from Latin roots. This is a Latin word. El escritorio, which I'm sitting at, you can't see it because the computer's on it. That would come from ancient Greek. That's an ancient Greek root. So Greek and Latin roots, guys. That's what a Romance language is. So that's why they like to take their nouns and they like to classify them as either masculine or feminine. So how do you identify whether something's masculine or feminine? That's a good question. It depends on the. So how many ways are there to say the in English? Think about it. I'm not going to give you too much time. There's one way. The is the. So in Spanish, not so. Okay? In Spanish, there is a feminine way. So anything that has la in front of it on your list is feminine because it's ancient Latin. It's Latin, not ancient Latin. What's wrong with you, Senora Ogden? You don't know. And anything that has L in front of it is masculine. So that's where you get the, I'm lopsided. That's where you get the genders. La, L, feminine, Latin, masculine Greek. Okay? I wish it were that simple, but there's two more. Okay, so these mean the. They just have genders. They also have plural forms. So, if I were an octopus, this would be easier. If we're talking about el perro, the doggy, el perro, the one dog. But then you say, well, I need more than one golden retriever. Those things are awesome. I need another one. Los perros. You need to change it to los. Okay? And then same with la. Okay. There's a feminine form. And this isn't working, but I'm going to force it. Yeah. These are your 4 forms of the. It's not very pretty, but I really wish I had a board to stick these on. That's what you get for making videos at home. Okay, those are your 4 forms of the. Yeah, there are 4 thes in Spanish. 1, 2, 3, 4. El, la, los, las. Okay, so let's put these into action, shall we? So, hermana, feminine. So, la hermana, the sister. And if I had more than one sister, it would be las. And it actually can't be las hermana. You have to make hermana more than one. How would you do it? Here you go, stick an S at the end. Las hermanas, the sisters. Okay? Same with, let's do boys. The boys in Spanish class are goofy. I actually can't tell because you're remote this semester. And when you're in cohort, you're shy because there's like 2 of you. El Chico. That's okay. I know things are about to change. El Chico. If I had more than one boy, los chicos. Here we go. Los chicos. Okay, see what I did? Add an S. Boom. It's more than one. Get a whole room full of boys. However, I wish it was that easy just to say, oh, that's plural. Just slap an S on the end. That only works when there's a vowel before it. Hermano. There's an O. Hermana or chica. That's a vowel. Chicas. What else do we have? We have objects. Oh, like when I'm sitting in. Chair. La silla. Silla would just turn into sillas. But what happens if something doesn't end in an A, E, I, O, or U? Or an A, A, E, O, U? What happens? Well, you have to add ES. And what is a good example of something in your bedroom that you hang on the wall decoratively that ends in a consonant? Cartel. Cartel is a poster. If you want to make it more than one poster, because who only has one poster hanging up? That poster needs a buddy. Carteles, okay? So anytime something ends in a consonant, you have to add ES. Okay? Just like, I'm trying to think of another example. And of course, I'm not going to be able to at the top of my head. My brain jumped. Okay. So if it ends in a vowel, add S to make it more than one. If it ends in a consonant, add ES if it's more than one. I'm writing one here because I know that you're familiar with it. What is this? ¿Qué es esto? I tell you all the time. Necesitan un lápiz o un bolígrafo. Lápiz. Lápiz ends in zeta. Anything that ends in zeta gets a special pluralization rule. This rule is much like our rule in English. Do you know the pluralization rule I'm talking about that alters the spelling at the end of a word when you make it more than one? Like I was talking about those golden retrievers. What if you had a puppy and then you wanted more than one puppy? Because just one is no fun. You would have puppies, right? The Y turns into an I and you add ES. Well, in Spanish, it's the same rule, but it's with a zeta, a Z. So anytime something ends in Z, you cannot simply add S or ES. You have to change the Z to a C. There we go. C and add ES. Lápices. Just like if some of you guys are putting lights in your room, in your bedroom, a luz is a light. But if you need more light than that because your room's kind of dark, luces. There you go. Instead of changing the Y to an I and add ES, you change the Z to a C and add ES. So hopefully this review jogs your memories so that you will be able to discuss your vocabulario. Okay? So if you have any questions, feel free to reach me. I hope that you took notes. You should have. If this is new to you, I think it would really be helpful for you to take out your cuaderno and start writing notes down, just like if we were in class. This is the way I teach my lesson in class. All right, so si no tienes preguntas, okay, hasta luego. And if you do have them, if you do have questions, you can feel free to email me or ask me if I can come jump on Zoom and help you. Nos vemos, chao.